Katsuki Bakugou X Reader, Chapter 5. Once Wayan had told her parents about the scores, it seemed like time flew by and in came at the first day at UA. It was going to be weird starting a new school after an intense entrance exam. She hadn't had a chance to contact Midoriya or Bakugou since receiving the results. As Wayan was walking to her class, she looked at the schedule sent to her a few days prior and saw which class she was in. 1A seemed to be flowing with fresh faces. She didn't really recognize or know anybody until she entered the class, hearing a familiar voice already disagreeing with someone. She saw Bakugou sitting with his feet up on a desk, something that he did everywhere he went, and saw some guy with glasses and dark-colored hair arguing with him. She sighed, shaking her head at ridiculousness. Really, Katsuki, on the first day? She shook her head, crossing her arms as she walked up to his desk. You're so disrespectful, the other guy yelled. Wayan put her hand on the other student's shoulder. I'm sorry about him. He's always been like this, if it makes you feel better. No, it does not, but thank you for trying. He turned to her. I'm Tanya Ida. Wayan Ellen, and Miss Sunshine over here is Katsuki Bakugou. Wayan introduced, pointing to Bakugou. What did you call me? Bakugou snapped, falling backwards in his chair. Ida seemed to rush over to the door to speak with someone. Wayan saw who it was and ran over quickly. Oh, hey, Izuku, Wayan greeted brightly. Hey, Wayan, Midoriya greeted. Oh, this is Ochako Uraraka. Nice to meet you, Wayan said as she put out her hand. Nice to meet you too. So are you his, Uraraka started, pointing between the two. Girlfriend? No! Midoriya and Wayan denied at the same time, shaking their heads and laughing a little. We're childhood friends, Midoriya exclaimed. Besides, she and Kachan have a thing going on. Wait, what? Wayan retorted, looking bewildered with a slight pink tint along her cheeks. Then Midoriya saw something behind Uraraka. And when the group's eyes followed, they saw what looked like a big yellow caterpillar. This turned out to be class's homeroom teacher, Mr. Aizawa or Eraserhead. Get on your gym clothes and go outside, he said lethargically as he pulled out some uniforms from his bright yellow sleeping bag. I wonder what we're doing, Wayan questioned to Bakugou quietly as they left the classroom. Shut up and maybe you'll find out, he snapped quietly. Also, you won't be ahead of me again. Wayan paused for a moment before realizing that he meant the practical exam where she got first, while Bakugou second. Oh crap, Wayan thought, he's not going to let me win anything because of that stupid exam. Once the class got to the field, Wayan looked and realized that it looked like a baseball diamond. Wait, a quirk assessment test? The class asked simultaneously. But orientation, we're gonna miss it, Uraraka pointed out. If you really want to make the big leagues, you can't waste your time on pointless stuff, Mr. Aizawa stated, leaving the class to gasp and ultimately be shocked. Here at UA, we're not tethered to traditions. That means I get to run my class however I see fit. You've been taking standardized tests most of your lives, but you never got to use your quirks in physical exams before. The country is still trying to pretend we're all created equal by not letting those with the most power excel. It's not rational. Maybe the Ministry of Education will learn. Ellen, you managed to get the most points on the entrance exam. What was your farthest distance thrown with a softball in junior high? Mr. Aizawa asked her, holding a softball. Maybe around 60 meters? Wayan answered in an unsure tone. Right, now come do it with your quirk, he told her, holding the ball out to her. Wyan came up and took the ball from him, walking to the circle. Anything goes, just stay in the circle, Mr. Aizawa told her. Wyan tossed the ball up a little, enveloping it with a light blue energy, then threw it, causing a huge bang and bright light, sending the ball soaring into the sky and leaving a faint glowing trail. All of you need to know your maximum capabilities. It's the most rational way of figuring out your potential as a pro hero, Mr. Aizawa stated, holding a distance measuring device, showing that Wyan had thrown the ball around 750 meters. Whoa, 750 meters? Are you kidding me? One of the students with blonde hair with a black lightning strike, Denki Kaminari, stated rather shocked. I wanna go, that looks fun, another student, one with a pink skin and hair. Mina Ashido squealed as she clapped her hands together. That's what I'm talking about, using our quirks as much as we want. One student with strange elbows and black hair, Hanta Zero, excitedly commented. So this looks fun, huh? Mr. Aizawa asked. You have 3 years here to become a pro hero. You think it's all gonna be games and playtime? The class started to look nervous as Wyan walked back into the large group, rubbing her throwing arm. That's when she noticed Mr. Aizawa's terrifying smirk. Today you'll compete in 8 physical tests to gauge your potential. Whoever comes in last has none and will be expelled immediately, he stated, leaving the class in full shock this time. Like I said, I get to decide how this class runs, understand? If that's a problem, you can head home right now. Some students, including Bakugou, smirked, knowing that they would be fine. Wyan looked over at Midoriya, seeing that he looked really nervous and looking at his hand. You can't send one of us home, Uraraka protested. I mean, we just got here. Even if it wasn't the first day, that's not fair. When you think natural disasters are, or power-hungry villains, Mr. Aizawa started, making Wyan think about the sludge monster, almost a year back, or catastrophic accidents that wipe out whole cities. No, the world is full of unfairness, and it's a hero's job to combat that unfairness. If you want to be a pro, you're gonna have to push yourself to the brim. For the next 3 years, UA will throw you one terrible hardship after another, so go beyond plus ultra style. Then he pointed his finger to them, signaling to bring it on. Show me it's not a mistake of you being here. Wyan looked over to Bakugou, who was stretching his arm out and smirking. Now then, Mr. Aizawa started once again. We're just wasting time by talking. Let the games begin. Game on, Wyan thought. First was the 50-meter dash, and Wyan watched as there were 2 going against each other each time, and one of them would have 3 duo to the odd number. She'd watch as some would do better than others. The Ida seemed to be in his element with his quirk. One classmate seemed to have a belly button laser which was glamorous. Shooting my beam for more than a second hurts my tummy, a student named Yuga Aoyama stated. What a tool, Wyan and probably a lot of other classmates thought. Wyan was against both Bakugou and Midoriya. When it started, Bakugou started running, eventually yelling, "Burst speed!" as he put his arms behind him and launched himself forward using his quirk. Wyan followed close behind by creating fields to launch herself off. Bakugou finished at 5.13 seconds while Wyan finished at 5.3 seconds. Midoriya finished with just a little above 7 seconds. Bakugou looked at his smoking hands. My power has more uses than anyone else in this school. Wyan snorted at his remark as she stood on one of the force fields a few feet above the ground. Yeah, okay, Wyan giggled as she used more fields to step down. Bakugou shot a little glare at